So Graham, it's quite a big day for news for England rugby today. But first of all, let's start off with what we came here to speak about, which is England have moved their training camp from Portugal to Leeds. And as someone who was in Portugal for the last 3 years, what's behind that, and in what ways are you looking forward to being in Leeds for a week?
I think it'd be a good change. The Portugal facility is brilliant. Alan Brown and Browns, we've been there for 3 years, as you say. Great warm weather facility. We're going to go to Leeds instead. I think it's right in terms of a change. It's a new start. All of this thing is a new start for me. So let's go somewhere differently. And I think West Park, it's got all the facilities. We've checked it out. I'm hoping the weather stays fairly good. Although we're playing at Murrayfield the week after, so if it's windy and wet, it'd probably suit the conditions in Murrayfield to practice for that. But I think overall, a change of venue and allowing local people, press, former players to come in and speak to the lads, allowing that kind of access, I think is another bonus point of us being in the UK.
And you mentioned training at West Park Leeds, which I think is a Level 8 Yorkshire Division 2 club.
Yeah.
What does that say about sort of the new start for England, that you want to be there in the grassroots game?
It's very much.
See you and
Yeah, it's a big part. We've all come from there. I've come from there. Stuart has, Faz has, and I think getting that reconnection with that end of the game is important. It's a good club. They've got all the facilities. I'm really looking forward to it.
And words like humility and transparency and media scrutiny have been used by Stuart in the build-up to today and what he's trying to do. How important do you think those things are as we move forward as you said, as a new start?
I think top sportsmen, that include coaches as well, have got to show a degree of humility. Transparency, it's something that we've got to have when we go to clubs. You go around various clubs, you've got to be able to walk into any club and them to trust you and watch their sessions. But for them to trust you, you're not going to go and tell their opponents their line-out moves, for example. So they're big core values for us as coaches and as players.
And there are other features to this camp as well, not just, obviously you're preparing for a big game in Scotland in 2 weeks' time, but off the field as well. And some guest speakers coming in. Can you explain a bit about who they are and what the purpose of them being there is as well?
I think former England players will be coming in, like Sir Phil Vickery, Jamie Peacock, rugby league legend, and we've got Dave Brailsford from the British cycling programme, a very successful programme, Hugh Morris from the cricket. I think as coaches and players, it's important to know how other sports do things. I've always found it fascinating. Go and get their perspective on things. All sorts of things from analysis in terms of how they plan their week and their recovery. And the players to also engage with big name players and see how they dealt with pressures and see how Phil Vickery dealt with the responsibilities of being a leading England player, how he dealt with himself, his humility, for the young guys to come in and see how those guys handle themselves and get their thoughts on the game. I think it's invaluable.
As we mentioned, 2 weeks away from this Leeds camp, it'll be a big match at Murrayfield in Scotland. A lot of rugby to be done as well, rather than just the things off the field. Stuart talked about a freshening of the squad with some young players. I know you can't talk about individuals yet because it's not been finalised. But you're obviously expecting that as well, to see some young, fresh talent in this England squad, in both squads, Saxons and EPS.
Yeah, there's two things here. I think it's the start of a new 4-year cycle for us going forward after a World Cup. But I think we can afford to look at some younger guys. Not completely, because you still need that experience of those guys. And a lot of the team, a lot of the squad will have played in the World Cup, all experienced and all relatively young. And also, if you look around the Premiership, a lot of the best players playing, the standout players in clubs, are all young. So it's even more of a reason to get them involved with us in one of our squads. And
now moving on to some of the other news that's broken today. A young player that you know and that we know, Ben Morgan from Left Knee Scarlets, has declared his sort of option to play for England. Obviously England have not forced him to make that decision, but shown their interest in him. And what ways has he impressed you specifically?
We've not forced him.
No,
we've been watching him for around a year now, and he's known that. And he had options. Of course, he's just qualified to play for Wales by his residency. But I'm delighted he's chosen to wear the white shirt. Been looking at him for a long time. Young man, 22-year-old, Bristol born. I'm not sure how he ended up in Wales, because he played for Dursley, then Cinderford, then ended up in Merthyr Tydfil for some reason.
Strange move.
And played at the Scarlets, but no, we watched him very closely. Exciting young talent, good at lots of things in terms of his athleticism, his contact skills, carrying, good line out forward. You know, he's a good package, and we've got a lot of good resources in those back row slots, and he'll be a welcome addition. I'm looking forward to working with him.
And moving on now to Danny Care, obviously it was a difficult decision for the England management to make, to make him unavailable for the Six Nations. But does it send the right message out now to the squad and to the wider public that it takes certain things on and off the field to be an England player now in 2012?
Yeah, you're very much, now more than ever, you're in the public eye as a leading sportsman. Regardless of that, we can't condone what Danny's done. He's a good lad. Known him quite a few years now. We just can't do that. We can't condone that. Going into Six Nations, one of our players having that round his neck. That's why we've left him out.
As you say, he's a big loss as a player, one of England's star performers, but there's more important things than that as we go forward.
Yeah, it's a very, very serious thing he's done. We can't condone that, and we're going to lose him as a player. It's our loss completely. He's going to lose the chance of playing for England in the Six Nations as well, but they're the consequence of his actions, really.
But let's now turn to a positive. Enthusiasm abounds in everything you seem to be doing at the moment. Really looking forward to getting stuck into it again, in watching more rugby. Then we've got Leeds, and then back to Pennyhill Park for Scotland. You're really looking forward to it again. Yeah,
I am. It's busy times. It's busy. It doesn't feel like 2 minutes ago that we're all in a press conference early December in Twickenham being announced as the new interim coaching team. But it's been busy times. Watched a lot of rugby. That's the jobs. Busy travelling the country. My laptop's about to blow up, as I mentioned last time, with all the... I've got to get some stuff off there as well.
Something else but rugby.
There's nothing else but rugby on there.
Desperate Housewives on this.
Desperate Housewives? Oh no. Sex and the City maybe.
Okay.
But no, been busy times. Looking forward to getting going.